for housekeeping, we'll be recording the meeting. So this is a request for your permission to record. And also some of this webinar training might be shared online. So I hope that's okay. So I have been thinking a lot about sharing this. I hope I'm audible enough. Kind of doing some basic training, not even really training, a webinar, kind of showcasing some of the AI tools that are available to researchers. And this is because essentially, when you think about the progress we are seeing in AI, it's quite a lot. And sometimes the diffusion of technology kind of takes time before it reaches the periphery. And if you think where the research is being taken, is being done, is in US, in Europe, and China. Very true research is being done on AI in Africa anyway. So we are much on the periphery, but I think the tool and the tool that are being developed in these countries are quite accessible and can be quite helpful to a lot of researchers in developing countries. So my hope is that some of these tools I'll share can be helpful in your work. Essentially, I am not a researcher in AI. So my aim is not to tell you what AI is all about. My aim is to kind of share how I'm using some of the tools that are available to kind of make my work easier, either whether I'm drafting, whether I'm searching researches, or whether I'm doing data analysis. So what's the agenda for today? I will kind of just do a brief introduction of LLMs, which are the large language models that I think are the biggest part, kind of the most well-known AI models currently, and briefly attempt to explain how they work. Then I'll kind of discuss some general AI tools that you can use as a researcher. Those are just for general use in your day-to-day work. Then I'll discuss some AI tools for literature review, some AI tools for research synthesis. Then I'll talk about some AI tools that you can use for your data analysis, and I'll kind of finish up with how you can be able to learn large language models locally in your computer without accessing, without using kind of cloud, without using models that are hosted in the cloud. So these local models might be important in case you are dealing with some work that is a bit more sensitive or is private and you don't want to share that work with anyone else. So this can be quite helpful. And we'll discuss which type of kind of hardware, like the laptops, computers you may need to kind of be able to use these models. And as usual, if as I continue, if you have a question, you just raise your hand and or kind of interrupt me and kind of ask the question. We don't have to wait until I've finished to ask the question. Okay, let's dive to introduction. So what's the aim? Here, the aim in the next 1 hour is just kind of get a basic knowledge of how LMs works, understand potential AI tools available for researchers, and kind of try to apply some of these tools to your own workflow. So I'll show you how I use them on my day-to-day kind of work. And if you see a tool that might be interesting for you, you can always kind of adopt it. So what are LLMs? These are large language models. They are type of artificial intelligence models. And the core thing is that they are very good at understanding and generating human-like language. So they are largely text models, but of course, we have seen a development where we have seen models that can understand pictures or images, can understand videos, can understand audio. Those models are there. But I think for today, we'll be more focused on large language models that are kind of focus on text. So these models are trained on very large amount of data. So you can think of I know for those who have, I hope most of us are in economics and have interacted with time series models. And if you think of most of these time series models, and I'm trying to simplify here, this is the large language models are using different architectures compared to what you find in time series model. If you think of a time series model like an autoregressive model, what you do is that you take a portion of your data. Maybe you have data from 1990 to 2020. You take data from 1990 to 2010, and you run an AR model and train it until you get the correct kind of coefficient for your AR model. And then you use that model to see whether it's able to predict the rest of the year from 2010 to 2020. The same with this language model. They are being trained with an enormous amount of data, and then you are kind of testing whether they are doing a good job of predicting the next kind of word in a sequence of word. This one, the models are using deep learning and machine learning models for training. And if you're interested in application of these methods in economics, Marisa Dale has done a lot of work on this. I'll share the slides. I'll share these slides, and you can kind of access her page. And you can learn more about which models can be, how these models can be, this deep learning and machine learning model, how can they be applied in economics. These models are these LLMs are quite applicable to a range, quite diverse fields in, of studies. Anywhere you are dealing with text generation or translation, these are potential areas that can be you can kind of use these models. This is the current landscape. This is just a kind of a basic word cloud of kind of major players currently in AI or LLM kind of field. You can see a lot of words that I know most of you have come across and has been mentioned a lot in the media, in the news, and all that. And most of these kind of company will be meeting some of the models that they have kind of developed. Okay, how do they work? These models largely what they do is that they take a text as an input. So assume you want to kind of input. Assume you are writing you write a text of when it's hot I dash from the fridge. Assume the dash there you want to fill it with the word take cold water from the fridge or take a cold drink from the fridge. Now an LLM will take that input text, transform it to a basic unit of text. What in AIs we call it's called tokens. These tokens will be converted to a numerical representation. You can think of matrices that we use a lot in economics, and the information in that text will be represented in a matrix format or numerical representation. And then what the model will do, the large language model will determine the probability of the next token, the next word after I. So I'm saying when it's hot water, that's what I entered, I dash. So the model will try to kind of predict what should be the next token. If you may find the models provide drink cold water with 15% probability, take cold water with 10% probability, take a drink by 6% probability, take a nap by 2% with 2% probability, and so forth. And if the setting is that the token with the highest probability is the one that is used to kind of fill the gap, what the model will do is like to take those tokens that it have generated for you and kind of insert them in the input that you had created. It will kind of continue generating from where you stopped. So the output you get from the input you put your model will be when it's hot, I take a cold water from the fridge. Essentially, that's what they are doing. They are most of these models are trying to predict the next token in sequence of an input. Once you input a text, what should be the next sequence of tokens. Okay, I hope we are together up to there. Let's dive into kind of more of this. Uh, and what I'll start with tools that you can use for your general use. And this is just general chat apps models. Um, so I have started here with the most common one, but these chat apps are so many. The companies are so many that these are not the only one that you find, but these are the most common ones. So the Gemini by Google, the ChatGPT by OpenAI, there is Quen by Quen, DeepSeek by DeepSeek. I don't think it's called DeepSeek, but another app in China. So these are all apps that you can use in your day-to-day life to kind of uh, ask question, um, get information about something or about something you want kind of get more information about. I want to switch slightly and kind of talk through how some of these are because what you like. I know a lot of you, Museka, are already kind of interacting with this app, and hence kind of using the app is not the biggest kind of challenge. I think what I find important is for you to understand when should you use the app and when should you use the Google, because Google still is still quite an important search engine in the sense that there's a lot of information from Google that you can get, but this app also have access to Google. And the question is always like, when do you use Google and when do you use these models for your work? And if a researcher, what I found helpful is that if you have a very general query, like the question you want to ask is quite general, a lot of time Google will give you better results. And assume you are doing kind of uh, I work in trade and public finance. So if I'm working on a question on public finance, um, maybe the question I want to ask is quite a general question. And when I mean general, yeah, I may mean that I don't have a specific region. So maybe there's a model in trade focus maybe in on maybe the new trade models, and I don't know where it has been applied to. If you think about that question, if you ask a large language model, it will just create probabilities of the next token. And sometimes the responses might not be good enough. But if you think about Google, what Google will do is that Google, if you go to kind of especially a lot of pages that they are ranking them. So if you ask a question that's a bit general, Google is likely to give you some good information about, or a list of kind of websites that might give you more information compared to some of these large language models. But these apps are so good when you have a most kind of a specific question you want to ask. So you already know which new trade theory you want to ask. Maybe it's merits trade theory, and you already know you want to ask whether it has been applied in any African country. When you give this model that question, it will give you kind of better responses than asking it to give you some general kind of information. So as you use this model, what you realize is that the key thing is how you uh, kind of frame your prompt, what we call like the input text. It's called prompt in AIs. How you kind of frame that is quite important in terms of the kind of the quality of the response you get from them. I want to pause for a minute and check whether there's anyone with any question. And I hope all of you have come across some of these uh, apps. In case none of them, I can quickly show you the interface of one of them. Okay, let's assume we are good. Um, so the app you have mentioned are given by the company, but you can also get other app, general chat app. These are apps that are uh, more general in the sense that they are not restricted to a certain company. And the one that I use most a lot is this Cherry Studio. You can be able to add a bunch of models in that app, depending on the the purpose of what you want to use it for. So it makes it easier to consolidate kind of different apps into a single app. And whenever you want to kind of ask a question or uh, get some information, you can always just kind of change the model that you want to use. So I have given three here general apps, but there are so many outside there that if uh, anytime you look for app for running, kind of using with these models, you get a bunch of them. But the one I use a lot is this Cherry Studio. Let me just kind of show the interface of the app quickly. And the good thing is that most of these apps are free. You don't need to pay anything to use them. Um, I hope you can see my screen. Okay, this is a Cherry Studio app. What you can see here is that it's not it's quite intuitive. Like it's the kind of the layout is not very complicated, although uh, the app is written by a Chinese developer, so some of the whatever might be in Chinese, but most of the information is something that you can be able to follow on because most of it is in English. So what I was mentioning here is this: if I come to my model, I hope it's still able to kind of show. Uh, I hope you can still be able to see. I can be able to choose a bunch of models that I already have in my system, whether they are installed in my computer or I'm using a cloud model. So this enables you kind of to be able to kind of choose a model by use. So if you want kind of um, use a very powerful models, like right now Gemini 1.5, 2.5, I think is the most powerful model from Google. You can just choose that one. If you want kind of to chat on something that's a bit private and you don't want to share with other people, you can just come and choose a local model. You can create different assistants. So you can maybe you want kind of a chat a model that is more focused on data analysis, on whatever research, whatever code and all that. You can be able to choose in here and kind of start using it immediately. So this makes it easier for you to kind of to be switching to different profiles uh, and kind of customize the instructions that you're giving the model to be able to kind of give you better responses. If you look like this one, this assistant here called data analyst, you can see it has its own kind of instruction. You are you are now a data analyst with blah 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 with this kind of information and all that. You go to a default assistant, you find you're just a default assistant who is supposed to be helping me with ABCD. So this I think this is a very good app, and I think we'll be coming back later on uh, to check some of other features that it has. But one thing I wanted kind of to also comment is that the good thing with this Cherry Studio is that it have integrated some of the apps that are standalone from companies. So in this screen, you can see that I have Gemini app, I have DeepSeek, I have others like Cohen and other kind of companies that are producing these large language models. They are already in this interface. I can be able to install them in this app, and I'll be just be using them from a single app instead of going to different websites trying to access some of these models. Okay, I just a minute to check whether there is any question. The installation is quite straightforward and it's available to most operating system. I think it's available for Mac, it's available for Windows, and also available for Linux systems. Okay, I assume there is no question. Okay, let's continue. And so this app, you can just download the one. This is more about preference. Whichever you feel you prefer most, you can kind of just download and use that one. I want to go to apps that you can, or tools you can use for these are synthesis and all kind of reading. So you have some bunch of papers that you have, and or you want kind of to get some good understanding of a certain field. There are a bunch of apps that you can use here, and I think I'll start with kind of when you just want to get a general sense of a field. So you are thinking, I haven't kind of done some work on public choice theory, and I want to understand what's the kind of latest development in that field. Some of this app can be quite helpful in that it can kind of be able to do a good summary of that area and kind of provide you some very good information. Uh, there is this kind of most of these app already have kind of this function, and it's what they are calling deep search. So if you go to Gemini, you go to ChatGPT, when among other models, they provide you with uh, a way of kind of doing a deep research. Let me kind of illustrate this using Gemini app, but should be available in other kind of apps. I hope my screen is visible, the browser. Unfortunately, I can't see, I can't.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So assume I'm interested to kind of get the latest development in public finance. So in Gemini, they provide you with a tool here called deep research. It's just kind of gives you a more in-depth kind of answer to your question, plus the citations or where they have gotten that information. And in Gemini, you can kind of they have different kind of models you can use. Usually, depending on kind of how you think your question might be, um, if it's a question that you feel is a bit complex, you might need to use a more complex model. But if you think the question is not such complex, you can just use the basic model right now, which is I think 2.0 Flash. So if I ask uh, recent development in public choice theory, and I click deep research, and then I submit the query. What Google will do is to start to plan how to kind of conduct that research. And it will start by searching the websites, then it will analyze the result, and then it will kind of draft a report for me. So if I feel so you can see what it has done is first of all, it has planned and asked me, will do a research for websites, and what it's saying is search for academic journals or publications focusing on public choice and economics, specifically those related to public choice theory. So I can you can already see that it has been able to recognize that the field that you need to look for is political science and economics, uh, recent articles, research, and all that, identify key themes and topics, and blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of expect to see other kind of areas that it is thinking that might be helpful for it to search. And then if you are satisfied, you just kind of click start research and immediately to kind of start kind of going through the web, looking for information related to your query. And of course, you can see as it's kind of do the research, the number of websites that you have gotten and all that. And toward the end, it will give you uh, a kind of a report on that area. And that can be a very good way of kind of catching up in an area that you have not been able to kind of look at for some time, or kind of gather information about an area that you might be interested in. And just to mention, others also have that kind of deep research. This chat GPT. Usually for them, it is usually for if you need to subscribe for you to get deep research. Coin have the deep research for you. It's free of charge. You can be able to use it. I think DeepSeek do not have a deep research function, but it can be able to kind of think before it just gives you the answer. So if you give it a query and you say you want to kind of for it to start off or think about the question and then kind of provide the answer, it can be able to do that. Yeah, I'm still searching. So what we'll do is we'll just stop with this because it may take some time. So right now it have almost 157 websites. Before it synthesizes every one of these, it may take some time. So the best you can do is think, go ahead, and then you can come back. You can come back to this later on. So let me share my slides again. I'll be going to and fro from the slide and back to the website or whatever, or the tool that I'm kind of trying to illustrate. So you can use any of these one. It's really your preference. All of them are quite good in kind of most of these things. Go ahead, Dr. Juguna.
Thank you, John, for your initiative. Yeah, in behalf of EAK to do this seminar. Yeah. Now I have a question. I have used this. Okay, I have not used the others. I only use Chat GPT, but yeah, it is very useful and one can really employ it as a sort of research assistant. And also the difference is, when you have the AI compared to the Google, they give you so many things. But if you use the Chat GT, the AI, the answer is direct. Unlike the Google, it has so many, but the AI has direct answer. But even with Google now, I think they're using the Chat GTP, right? So even with the Google, when you do the Google search, the first thing that will display is the AI answer. So it is very direct. So no, okay. So my question is, how do you? I saw in your presentation there are options of deep research and others. How did you get that? You get my question?
Let me share the slides that maybe we can discuss from the slides. That will make it a bit easier for us.
Yeah, because what do you call that? Yeah, usually when I do the Chat GPT, you only ask question, but it doesn't have the what do you call that options that you have presented.
Yeah.
Down there you can have different options. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to answer you, so there are different kind of companies that are providing these large language models. And
John, can you take us there again?
Oh, yes, okay. Just a minute.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I was saying, there are different kind of companies providing these large language models. ChatGPT is one of them. For them, their deep research is at a paywall. Like you have to pay, I think it's around $20 per month to be able to access the deep research. But this one I'm using is Gemini by Google. So if you have a Google account, you have access to Gemini, and it gives you a kind of option to do deep research. I don't know whether that answers your question, Dr. Juguna.
Yeah, what I'm saying, how did you get that?
Okay.
The deep research.
The deep research.
The deep research option. Is it
Okay.
automatic?
It's automatic. So if you look at the chart window, like here, I don't know if it's possible, you can see where my cursor is. You can see you have an option for deep research.
Yeah.
And once you click this one, it will give you more in-depth answer to your question. So mine, I was asking about public choice theory, recent development. And once I clicked here, it will not just it will give me a more elaborate answer on that field, instead of just giving me maybe a few lines about the public choice theory.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay, fine.
automatic. It's
So it's automatic.
Yeah.
It's automatic. It will appear. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Let me.
you.
Okay. 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 Now I hope you can still see my screen. You can see now we have a very long document concerning public choice theory, emerging theoretical framework, and all that. Quite comprehensive if you think about it, and can be a good way to kind of to dive into a field that you're interested in, or you kind of getting back to. And of course, it will provide you all kind of kind of references that have been used kind of to kind of develop that report. The good thing is that you can export to a doc. So if you want to kind of format it, you can just kind of export to a document, Google document, and start formatting it. You can copy the whole document and paste it wherever you want to kind of editing, kind of use it. Whether you want to read it in a document or whatever, you can just copy it and you can just copy it there. I want to quickly show you another tool. Okay. So this one is like when you don't kind of, the information is a bit general. You just kind of want to get some general information. Another tool that I use a lot is when I want to kind of, I have maybe downloaded it several document and I want to get kind of some good information about the document. There is this tool by Google also called Notebook LLM. That's quite good for doing that in different way. And let me see whether I can open it very quickly. Yeah. Just a minute. And what you realize is that it's you can apart from this one, there's other one you can use relatively well. That are focused more on kind of chatting with a PDF. So I hope you can see my screen. Assume you are doing something and you are doing some kind of some research work, and you have a few documents that you are interested to learn more about, or you kind of want to get information from, and it's not that you kind of want to. It might be that you want to kind of digest the research more, or you might be interested more in kind of getting a certain part of the document. It's not that you're interested in everything. So this is how I kind of use this tool, and it's quite helpful in kind of getting deep to an area that you already have some good information about. So there are several ways you can use it. If you go, if you open, once you get to the site, you can always create a new item. And from there, it's quite straightforward. Once you open it, it tells you to kind of add your sources. Mostly these are PDFs that you want kind of to use for your kind of research. You just add them here. Once you upload them, it will create a kind of a page for you where you can be able to kind of now access your document. I want to illustrate using this Kenya Vision 2030 document. These are the 4 medium-term plans that are here. Once you upload them here, it will just first of all give you a summary of those documents. Here you can see a summary of the second medium-term plan, which was in 2013 to 2017. If you want to kind of use audio to kind of listen to your documents, you can generate an audio here. This means you generate an audio and then maybe you can listen it here, or you can download it and listen to it as you do other stuff, or as you take a walk, or you kind of do other stuff. But I think the most important thing here is that you can be able to chart your document. Here you can see you have an area here, you are being told start typing. So if I ask what are the key manufacturing industries that are prioritized in this document, it will start looking for that information from that document and they kind of provide that information to me. And once you, like here, I have highlighted all 4 documents. It would kind of try to look for that information from all those 4 documents and kind of provide maybe information from each document. In this document, the manufacturing sectors or industries that are high, that are prioritized ABCD. Can give it some time just kind of to do that. You can add as I think around 50 documents in a single chat, and you can be able to chat with them at a go. So I find it quite helpful, especially when I want to dive into a certain topic. I want to dive into a certain topic that I'm already quite familiar with. And that's the thing with this model, that you are always the expert in most of these things. You are the one who knows how the answer should look like. They can always make a mistake, but at the end of the day, if you are quite knowledgeable in an area, you can be able to kind of very fast get the information that you are interested in. That you can see you have the information now. It has been provided you with information. The industries that are prioritized in medium-term plan 1, medium plan 2, medium plan 3, and I think the last one should be medium-term plan 4, MTP4. You have already that information much more easily digested. And the good thing is that it will tell you where it got that information in that document. So if you click like those numbers that are showing there, that is the reference. Where did it get that information from? And from there, kind of, it's easier to verify that it's giving you the correct kind of information. Okay, just a minute before pausing for a minute in case there is any question on this before I move to the next kind of a tool.
Hi,
Okay.
John.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I joined late. I hope you had not looked at very many. I got you when you are discussing Gemini by Google.
Oh, no, I most likely not. I think I was, we were just at the start of the discussion.
Oh, that is okay. Sorry, I had challenges joining, but I am in. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Isaac.
Thank you, John. You wanted me to go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, John. And now that I'm seeing Chair Dr. Aflone is here, Dr. Angelica,
Yes.
because I use AI so much for my research. I also use it, and I wanted to get the refreshment. I don't know because what to tell the students or somebody else. Is it wrong? Because from my side, it's not wrong to use AI. Even if I find a student who helped to get, it's the same way we use Google Scholar and all that.
Okay.
So that's the guidance we have. Maybe for you, because you are in this research so much, have you found anywhere where they are condemning the use of AI in doing research? Yeah, maybe you get us on that, because for me, AI makes work simpler, and I'm not seeing anything legal.
Okay, maybe I think maybe I can share my thoughts toward the end. Let me kind of go through the tools, and then toward the end I'll kind of when I'm discussing the conclusion, I can give some ideas on kind of whether it's wrong, whether it's okay, and all that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. I see our time is still going. We have 15 minutes, and I want kind of to spend most of the rest of the time kind of focused on data analysis. But let's go through a few more tools before we go to data analysis. I'll take maybe a few minutes here. So for research, there's a lot of tools that you can use, and they are quite good. All these here I have mentioned here, they are quite good. They are just largely a search engine for research papers. Some of them you may find that they don't have very big repositories of economics papers, because most of them are focused on other aggregators like PubMed, but they do have some good information if you are interested in kind of searching economic stuff. So I'll still recommend that if you are searching from Google and you are getting so much information that you are not sure how to kind of deal with it, the first three are quite good search engines that you can use, and most of them are powered by an AI at the back end, and can be helpful in your search. Research Rabbit is another one that is interesting, because this one, if you use Zotero for reference management, you can connect them, and it will be suggesting for you researches that are quite connected to whatever you have already in Zotero. So I find it helpful when I want kind of get more information about an area, and I already have some few researches already in my Zotero folders. I can always kind of check what are the research that have been done after ABCD or before before this paper. Yeah, let us dive to this one. I want to kind of demonstrate how you can use some of these tools for data analysis, and I think that would kind of take maybe around 5-10 minutes, and then we'll up there. So what I'll be using is VS Code, Visual Studio Code, which is integrated development environment for software development, and I'll be combining it with GitHub Copilot. So GitHub for Copilot is I don't know how to put it, because it's an AI. It's kind of an aggregate of AIs, have different kind of models already. That is kind of developed by Microsoft. And I know if you use Windows, you have already seen Copilot AI something in your computer somewhere, and all of them are kind of AI. But for GitHub Copilot, this one is focused more on software development, more than kind of generating text, drafting, summarizing, and all that. But it can still be used for summarizing and all that, but it's more focused on data, on kind of software development. It's free of charge. You can download it. The VS Code, Visual Studio, is free of charge. Let me share my screen, another screen instead of. It's free to download. You can just download it from their website for Windows and others. GitHub Copilot is a paid service. I think it costs around $10 to $20 per month, but they have a free, a kind of free pro access for students and teachers. So if you are a student or you're a teacher, you can be able to kind of to access this through GitHub. I have here the process of kind of applying for that free. It kind of take maybe around 4 days for them to approve, and then it gives you access for a full year before the review after 1 year. And I think for me, I think it's a very good kind of tool to have in your arsenal for data analysis or any other software development work you might be doing. I want to illustrate how these two they are used. Very first, just let me close some of these windows. Okay, Visual Studio. What I've just fired. I hope you can be able to see my screen. Let me maybe share. So I hope you can see my screen now for Visual Studio. This is just Visual Studio. So what it does is like you have a place for files. Like if I know a lot of us use Stata for data analysis. You have a place where you can open your files here. You have an area where you can type your code below here. You have a do file, a place for writing your do file. For Visual Studio, it's in the program instead of it's usually a separate program, kind of text file that kind of you write into. In Visual Studio is integrated. And on this right side of my HUD, you have the Copilot, the GitHub Copilot, where you can chat with it and tell it, I want to do A, B, C, D, and I kind of let it kind of generate code for you. So I want to illustrate very quickly how you can use this. Setting it up, I have provided a link there by I think Professor Paul Goodman, who have shown how you can set up GitHub Copilot and VS Code, and also integrate several data analysis programs. So in Visual Studio, you can have in almost all data analysis kind of program. So you can use Theta, you can use Python, you can use R, any method whichever method you use, you can be able to kind of use it in Visual Studio. Now, yeah. So yesterday, like I assume you are interested in something data analysis, and here I'm just kind of using an example, but at the end of the day, it depends on whatever you are doing data analysis on. So yesterday, I downloaded a file, a DTA file. I'm trying to, this DTA file, this is a Kenya Enterprise Survey of 2018 by World Bank. So as you, I don't know whether we have played a lot with enterprise surveys, but they usually have a lot of variables, maybe around 300, 400 variables. And these variables are concerning farms, maybe around 1,000 farms. And I was thinking yesterday, kind of, I wanted to see what are the main challenges that are facing farms in Kenya. Now, if you want to do that in Stata, you need kind of to, first of all, do a bunch of lookups, looking for maybe challenges, obstacles, problems, complication, or whichever question synonyms you can come for the word challenges. Then you use Stata to kind of look for variables that are focused on that. After that, you need kind of to start now cleaning those variables. After cleaning them, now you can be able to kind of tabulate them and see 50% of the farm says electricity is a big problem, corruption is a big problem, tax is a big problem, and all that. So this is what I did. I just created a file, code file that was empty, and I can try to do it here again. Example.do file, and you can see it's open. And one thing I mentioned is that you can use different kind of different models here. If I come here down here, Copilot gives me several models. So there is crude models, which are by I think Anthropic. There are Gemini models. There is OpenAI's models, which it's whichever model you prefer to use for your analysis. And I just copy. Let me start a new chart. Copy, start a new chart, and kind of just paste this question here. And what I just telling the ChatGPT is that I want you to go create a do file that is looking for variables that have that are dealing with the challenges that are facing farms in Kenya. I have given it the name of the dataset because the dataset is in a folder that's already have access to. And once I click enter, it starts kind of thinking through what am I supposed to do, and they start thinking how do I generate kind of this this do file for whatever for this kind of work. And the good thing is that it takes you just a few seconds, maybe 1-2 minutes, and you have kind of the first maybe the first draft of your do file, and which can be quite effective really. You find it can be very, very effective in looking for whatever for those variables. Okay, this is what it have done. It have set up an environment and open a log file, loaded the Kenya data set, identified the variables related to business challenges, examine specific common challenges, determine the most severe obstacles reported, analyze how challenges vary by farm size and industry sector, created visualization and correlation analysis. So once you have this file here, you can just insert it into your file. And it's just as simple as clicking this file, and you have your do file. So if you have Stata, you just copy this code, copy it to a Stata do file, and you start kind of checking whether the data is working. Just to mention, because you are the expert, you are the one who should be able to check, is it doing whatever it's supposed to be doing? So if I check, I can see, yes, it have cleared everything that was in whatever in the Stata before. I have set more of, it's assuming I'm using version 17, but I might be using another version, so you might need to change that one. It have crossed in the log file you have opened, it have opened another one, and loaded your dataset. Now, as you can imagine, so that's who use data, you need to ensure that this data file is in the working memory, in the working directory, so that you can open it. Then what I've done is kind of just the basic check, kind of in the data. And then it have kind of used several variables that might be used to represent challenges. And you can see obstacles, constraints, challenges, and difficulties. If you have others, you can just add them here. Examine specific common businesses variables. Now, you can see what it has done. Now, it's not kind of looking for those variables here. You see, it have just said access to finance is B4A, but it's not telling you why it is saying it's B4A. And it's up to you to come here and kind of tell it, maybe when I click on, if I highlight this look for, because what I wanted to do is that you want it to do a look for, the whatever it is returned by look for, I wanted to save that variable in another variable. So I can just right click and go to Copilot and tell it I want to edit the chart, and it will open up a window that I can edit. And I can tell it save the, I think look for usually returns a val list. Save the val list of look for function in a local variable. And it will start thinking, and what you realize is that it have kind of now saved every time it does a look for, it goes ahead and create a local variable called difficult for that variable. Instead of doing this over and over again, maybe the thing should be you should be using a for loop. And very quickly, it creates for you a for loop that's be going through each and every keyword. It looks for that keyword, save that the variables of that keyword in a certain local variable called keyword variables. And now you can be able to use that key variables that have been found in your dataset kind of to check whether which are the main challenges that are facing a farm. And very quickly, you can find yourself with a very good kind of first draft of your analysis. I want to. I see it's. I can see it's on already 3. So I think our time is quite gone. But I hope I can quickly run through some of these, and in case people are interested, we can dive into some of these tools more in a future date. But what I'll do quickly is that I'll mention a few other tools that I think people can have a look at their own time, and hopefully they might be helpful to you. So I want to conclude in the next 5 minutes, so just bear with me for another 5 minutes. Okay, that's for data analysis. I think I find this VS Code and GitHub quite helpful. I believe it can be very helpful to most of us that do a lot of data analysis or deal with data in day-to-day kind of life. Sometimes you may want to learn models locally. So this means that the model will be running in your computer. This might be for many reasons. If you are doing something that's some work that's a bit more sensitive and you don't want to share it with corporations like Microsoft or whatever, it's easier to learn those models in your own computer. And the tool I use most is called Orama. This enables you to download these large language models in your computer and also allows you to run them in your computer. So if you want to use that one, I think that would be the easiest to set up. There are others. GPT for All is another app. LM Studio is another one that you can use, but it depends with your preferences and also the size of your laptop, because most of these models, for them to run, they require a GPU to kind of do the calculation. So essentially, depending on kind of how good your computer is, the better it will be able to run these kind of models. If you want to use local models in your Word document, there is this add-in called TextCraft. It's a very good add-in for reviewing your work. It can provide you some very good information to kind of improve your work. And I think that's where I stop and kind of highlight these tools are there. If you find a tool that's available for you and you can use it, it will really make your work easy. They can save you a lot of time for routine tasks, and anywhere you want a fast draft, the better you write your prompts or your input, the better you get the responses. And at the end of the day, AI tools are not substitute for your expertise. They complement them in the sense that, like, if here I'm not aware that I can use a loop instead of kind of checking each variable, that will just give me kind of a code that just looks for a single variable. So at the end of the day, it's you that you're an expert. Is it wrong to use them? No, but I think there are ethical considerations that you should be aware of. I think that if you're using AI to develop a large part of your work without your input, I think that's likely wrong, in the sense that that's not your mental kind of work. And why I'm saying this is in the sense that, especially for us who are in academia, if you are kind of using AI to kind of draft a whole document, that's essentially cheating, because what you should do is preface the whole document with, this is AI generated document. But if you're using it to complement your work, I believe these are very good tools to kind of make your work very, very easy. So it depends on how you are using them. I haven't seen for me, I don't see any challenges using them, whether you're using them for data analysis. At the end of the day, for me, these tools, especially when it comes to drafting research work, for me, they are quite poor. They can give you an idea of the field that you are researching, but it will never give you a good draft that's good enough for submitting to for either conferences or journals and all that. But I think they are quite helpful in giving you kind of the first draft or a kind of a layout of the field. Thank you very much. I want to stop there. I think we are 3:05. In case there's any question, I can answer, but I think that's all from me. Okay, thanks, Dr. Juguna. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, John, thank you again for your for teaching us this in
Yeah,
behalf of
okay.
EAK. Now, can I suggest what do we go from here?
Yes, you can.
How do we pick up? Because I think the conversation needs to continue. Like for example, okay, some of I don't know. It's me, for example. I really want to use this AI for as my research assistant. You know,
Yeah.
normally one would
Mhm.
pay for a research assistant to do what this AI is doing. So now
Yeah.
I don't need to pay a research assistant for me to be able to do it. I can just ask AI, okay, summarize this document. Yes, what are the new developments in this? So those are good things. So
Yeah.
on our way forward for the Econometric Association of Kenya, can we say have 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour focus on, say, first we can do the Gemini and others for a deep illustration, because now what we have is a is like a snapshot, bird's
Yeah.
eye view introduction.
Yeah.
So can we go to the deeper how to do it a comprehensive discussion on, say, chat gp, you know, you can group them, but what I notice is I want to learn more on this notebook,
Okay.
how you can summarize you have documents and you can summarize them, like for your example, what are the manufacturing sectors that are given priority in those documents. So instead of reading one by one, this AI can summarize us. It's very good. I don't think it is cheating. It is actually saving time. And so for example, can we have 1 hour discussion on that, and maybe we can have a hands-on for us to be able to do that as well. And the other one that are interested in is the GitHub, what's that, GitHub Copilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we do that 1 hour discussion on that, 1 hour discussion on the others?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we can.
we can schedule it in your own convenient time. So that
Yeah.
is my suggestion. And by the way, I just searched the Econometrics Association of Kenya, and the internet told me that it has expired, the license website, 18 days ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Doctor, thank you. Thank you. We rectified the problem.
Yeah, because what I'm suggesting is whatever you presented, you can, if possible, you can upload in our website so that it can get hits also. You know,
Okay.
yeah, people can download and it can get hits. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Thank you very much. We can do that. I'll look for some time and we can dive deep into these tools that some we have mentioned here and whatever members might be interested in. Okay, any other question before we wrap up in the next 1 minute?
I think Isaac, does he have a question? He said it's on hold.
Yes. Yeah, I think he has mentioned whether it's wrong to use this tool, and I have mentioned the kind of the ethical consideration, but using the tool is for me it feels quite good for saving time. Okay, if there's no other question, I think thank you very much for attending this. I will communicate. Yes, Dr. Simon. Doctor, we can't hear you if you are speaking.
Maybe you can unmute, Simon. You can unmute yourself.
And you can check whether you are connected with the audio, because we can't hear you still even now.
I think he has unmuted, but we cannot hear him.
Okay. I think maybe Simon, we can catch up, or you can kind of type the question. I think we can add here and just say thank you very much for attending. I will communicate later on when we can meet again and have a more deeper discussion on this. Okay, thanks everyone. Selina, can you hang back for a minute, if possible?
Yes.
Okay, I think the rest of the team, you can leave at your own pressure.